Ladies and gentlemen, rifle scopes. There are a myriad of options out there, tons of manufacturers, and when it comes down to picking the right scope for your rifle, you have a lot of options. Now, some of these options are ones that I myself haven't even heard of until now, and that is the case with Nutrek, who, as far as my research shows, is a new scope manufacturer. I believe they are out of China, and they happen to send over their Coppertag series of rifle scopes. Now, this is a first focal plane rifle scope. It comes in either a 3-18 by 50 or a 5-25 by 56. This is the larger one, the 5-25 by 56. So we're going to take a look at that today. Before we get too deep here, let me just give you a quick unboxing to show you what you get with this thing, and then we'll go into a little bit further detail. We got the Nutrek Coppertag 5-25 by 56 FFP rifle scope here, and we are going to do the quickest unboxing ever. All right, so that's everything out of the box. It comes with a front lens cap equipped. It also comes with one stashed in one of the little pockets in the box. You've got a chamois cloth for wiping the lens clean. You've got an Allen key for the turrets. You've got a throw lever, a sunshade, and the scope itself, which we'll take a deeper look at the features once I get it mounted on a rifle here in a minute. All right, now that you know what it comes with, we'll go into a little bit deeper here. So we'll get this on my rest over there and take a look at the features close up. But let me just read you a couple of things about this. So this is the 5-25 with the 56 millimeter larger objective. It's a 34 millimeter tube, which is great for grabbing light and giving you a good scope picture in there. We've got illumination on this one too. We'll get into that a little bit later. It is etched glass, so that's kind of a nice feature. It is a milliradian scope, so the click values are in 1/10 of a mil. It has 40 MOA. I don't know why they listed as MOA for the windage and 55 MOA elevation. So 40 mil is about, or 40 MOA is about 12 mil of windage, and 55 MOA is about 16 milliradians of elevation adjustment. It will parallax down to 10 yards, which is pretty cool, and it has a pretty generous eye relief sitting right around 3.75 inches. All right, it does have a zero stop. The length is 358 millimeters, and it weighs 845 grams. So next, I'll pop this over on my bench rest. We'll take a look at the features a little bit closer here, and then we'll get it out. I'll get a scope cam on it. We'll do a little bit of a tracking test, and I'll look at some stuff at various distances to give you guys the best impression that I can get through my scope cam of what kind of performance you're going to get out of this thing. Time for a bit of a closer look here. So the scope, the fit and finish on it is really nice, and this thing retails, I think, around $600, which is a pretty good price for a first focal plane big 34 millimeter tube scope like this. Definitely a little cheaper than the comparable Element Titan that I use in competition, but the features are up there with it. So it's definitely punching pretty heavy for its weight in terms of price. So we've got the magnification adjustment back here. I said it's a 5-25, and it's easy to turn and smooth, which you don't always find on lower quality or lower cost scopes. So I did find that pleasant, how easy that is to turn. Okay, we do have illumination here, so we'll take a look at the parallax wheel there. The outside wheel is the illumination. It has 6 settings. It's powered by a CR 2032 battery. And then if you can see the parallax there, it does parallax all the way down to 10 yards, which is perfect for shooting chipmunks out of that little log pile right there. So all the way down to 10 yards, and then it'll go out to infinity. And I've found that the parallax works pretty well on this. It's pretty true. Okay, let's take a look at the turrets. So I've already gone ahead and loosened the 3 set screws in here that hold the turret cap on. And if we pop that off, we're going to see a very familiar kind of Element style zero stop on there. So that also has 3 set screws on it and a little tab that comes down and will connect with the scope turret base to stop the scope. So you can set that. I've got it set 1 milliradian lower than my zero at 25 yards. So then after you have your scope zeroed, you would just pop your cap back on and then re-secure those 3 set screws. To me, I wish it had what it has on the windage turret. The windage turret does have a cap, which you could just take off and leave off if you want, and that's probably what I'll do. But if you see that screw in the center there, that's all it takes to get that turret off and reset it. So I like that. I wish it did, you know, I wish the top turret had that instead of having the set screws. But really positive clicks on this thing. So I like that. Very tactile. The cover is nice. The machining's nice. You know, you can adjust your eyepiece here as well. So just all of the features that you would expect on a high-end scope. So I think what we can do now that you guys know the features here is let's get it into my heated shooting shack there, and we'll go ahead and look at some stuff at various distances, and we'll do a tracking test on this thing. But I'll tell you, I've been pleased with this so far. And I think if you were looking for a scope that you could even do like a 100-yard bench rest with on kind of a budget, this would fit the bill for that. So let's go out and take a look at a couple of things. I'll mount a side shot scope cam right here, and hopefully that'll give us some good quality on here. Every scope is a little bit different for how they play with the scope cams, but hopefully we'll have some good luck here. I haven't tried it before, and you will see that right now. All right, let's take a look at this thing through the scope cam, which it does seem to play pretty well with. Some scopes don't, some scopes do. This one seems to be pretty good. I'm just filming with a side shot cell phone mount and my Samsung S22 cell phone. So we're just taking a look down my laneway here. I am at the lowest magnification, which is 5. So there's my target stand at 25 yards. And if I pan over, I've got a white diamond there at 50 yards and that red circle at 100. And then way back there, right where my crosshairs are, that is a 4-inch target at 150 yards. And we will parallax to each one of those individually. But for now, let's start on this target. And what we can do is just go through the zoom range. So right now I'm at 5, and I'm just gonna, I'll tell you when I stop at like 10, but I'm just gonna basically try to smoothly zoom through. All right, so that's at 10. And notice the detail on the wood and just the lines in the target itself. Not looking too bad. I'm looking through my scope and it looks better than it does on the display on my cell phone, but we'll go ahead and zoom in more. So let's go smoothly to 15 right there. Now we're bringing ourselves quite a bit closer into that target. I do see that we are having a little bit of glare from the lights above me, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. Looking at that, let's zoom in a little bit more. So that was 20 right there, and we'll zoom all the way in. So that's 25 right there. So that's what 25 yards are going to look like. I am having a little bit of, it seems like shadow from my scope cam at this point, but looking through my eye, it is very, very clear. And let's just go ahead and make sure we're on target. A little high. Okay, so we're a little bit high at 25 yards. So now what I'm going to do is back out, and we will go ahead and look at 50 yards. So I've got a 50-yard target right there. I'm going to parallax for it. All right, that looks pretty good. And now would be a good time to show you the illumination as well. So I'll go ahead and turn this to the highest setting on the illumination, and you'll see as I zoom in, it's only the center crosshair which gets illuminated, which I really like, rather than the whole reticle. So we're zooming in here. There's about 10. Now it's dark in here, so I can't see my numbers as well. There's about 15. And that looks really good, and just because I like shooting. And this gun is pretty accurate, man. So that's 15 power. That's 20. Let's go full power.
So that's full power, and I can very, very clearly see every single detail about that target, all the hits on it and everything. So I'm pretty happy with that. Definitely the scope would be one that you could for sure use in like NRL 22 if you're a competitor, or even bench rest. And speaking of bench rest, which is usually shot at 100 yards, let's parallax for that one out there. And we'll take a quick look at 100 yards. So again, I'm starting at minimal zoom 5x, and we're just going to zoom all the way in. And hopefully it's coming through okay on the cell phone, but I do notice a little bit of aberration in my eye, and I'm going to go ahead and turn off that illumination also. But I can clearly see each of the hits on there, which is pretty good. Let me fiddle with the parallax and see if I can get any crisper. Okay, that's actually looking pretty good to my eye right there. Can definitely see the hits on there, and that is at 100 yards. So if I can see the individual hits on there, then that means I would easily be able to see a bench rest card. And I'm just trying to, there we go, just touching the parallax just a smidge. So it's super windy out there, but I also can't resist. So let's just see if I can land one on it. Probably should be about 4 MOA or mil holdover. Yep. So pretty good. All right, so that's what 100 yards looks like. Now the fence behind it is 118 yards, and I'm on full magnification, and we can really see all the detail in that wood, the splintering, the nails in it. There's a robin down there in harm's way, but we don't harm birds on this channel, so unless they're sparrows or starlings. But I'm just fiddling with the parallax. I think that's about the best image that I'm going to get at 118 or so yards, and you can see pretty detailed image quality. I hope that it's coming through on the side shot camera. Then we'll go also to the 150, which it looks like I'm in pretty good focus, so I don't really need to mess with much. But let me just try to get it in the best focus I can. I have no idea how many mil of holdover that is, so I'm not going to bother shooting at it, but I'll go ahead and zoom out so we can kind of see the whole laneway there, and zoom back into that thing. And that's pretty good at 150 yards, man. So I think whether you're using the scope on a firearm to reach out really far and touch something, or you're just using it on an air gun for closer ranges, it's going to do both of those jobs just fine, in my experience. So I definitely dig that. Let me zoom out, and then we'll go back to our 25-yard target and do a tracking test. We are looking at my 25-yard target. There are the two holes that I put before. We were a tiny bit high. Let me just take one more for verification here. Okay, so a tiny bit high. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down 1 mil, and that's going to hit my zero stop, and then I'm just going to dial this thing until it stops. So I'm going up now. So that was 1 full revolution, and that's where it stopped. So I'm going to go back down to 0. And the clicks on this thing feel really nice. It feels reminiscent of a high-end scope. So I should be putting them right through that same hole. Well, same elevation, which is all I adjusted. So let's just see what's happening here. Okay, so we are good. Might have had a bent skirt or something on that pellet. Let's go up and see if I'm kind of hitting a little bit high on that center ring. I am. The elevation is good. Maybe the wind changed or something. Yep. So it definitely tracks pretty good for sure. And I'm impressed with the performance and the visual clarity of this scope. Let's, for fun, go to 50 yards, and that robin's gonna get the daylight scared out of him. He didn't even barely flinch. Okay, but I think that's a pretty good demo for kind of how this scope performs and what you're gonna get sort of at the different magnification levels, looking at various distances down my little range here with the scope.
All right, King, so it is getting really windy and it looks like it's about to storm. So let's wrap this up. I wanted to say a couple of final words. And the first words I'll say is that I just watched that Scopecam footage that you saw. And of course, I recorded it with the cell phone that's recording me now. I just had it on a side shot cell phone mount. And when you're looking through your naked eye through the scope, I just noticed that my optical clarity and quality was much, much better than the video I just watched from the Scopecam that you guys just saw also. So take that footage with a grain of salt. It does an okay job, but nothing beats your naked eye looking straight through the scope. And I will tell you that this scope has pretty good optical clarity. Eye relief is nice. You get a lot of features that you're going to get on high-end scopes for not a bad price tag on this thing. Illumination, and I really like how they just illuminated the center reticle. If you've ever had one that illuminates the whole entire Christmas tree reticle, it really bleaches out a lot of that illumination, especially in low light, to your eye, and it's not that pleasant, but these are a much better way to do it. I thought the parallax denominations were pretty right on point for how they're marked at different distances. The magnification wheel is very smooth to increase and decrease, which is good. A lot of these newer manufacturers haven't mastered that yet. The turrets have pretty good click values. They are very tactile and really reminiscent of higher end scopes. And we saw it did pretty good on a tracking test. We had a little bit of wind blowing it, you know, left and right or whatever, but elevation was dead on. And for the windage turret, I thought it was kind of interesting that they included this cap here to protect your windage turret. That's mostly for if you're a hunter and you're walking through the woods, you don't want, you know, sticks bumping your windage off. So you can either run that or leave it off, up to the shooter. But overall, I thought it was a pretty nice scope. And I'm always a little hesitant from manufacturers I don't know to do reviews, because let me tell you a little secret. I've been sent a lot of scopes that I haven't even done reviews on because they were just so bad that it would be unprofessional and rude of me to just say, oh, thanks for sending over a scope and then put out a bad review. But that is definitely not the case with Nutrek. I really like this scope and it's going to stay on this gun. This is a Barra 250Z from High Pressure Pneumatics. We're going to do a review on this. We're going to retain this glass for that review. And so far, I am really, really liking this gun. It's a pretty interesting gun with air tube around the barrel. So that's why there's no tank on this thing, but we'll get into all that later. As far as Nutrek, they've got a lot of different products on their website. I'll drop links in the description and comments for you guys. And if I have a discount code, of course, I'll include it for you. And I will say thank you guys if you're using my Amazon and High Pressure Pneumatics links. That is keeping the channel afloat. I do not monetize the channel through YouTube, which means I don't get paid, but it also means, and this is more important, you don't sit through commercials. So if you're shopping through the Amazon links and the High Pressure Pneumatic links, I really appreciate that because that's really what's keeping my head above water here. So thank you for doing that. I hope you guys thought my review on the optic here was helpful, and stay tuned because we're going to review this gun next. So thanks for stopping by and checking it out. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.